Welcome back to the 101 podcast. Today we are in Scottsdale, Arizona with a very, very special guest. Today we have somebody that, if you know anything about baseball and you know anything about hitting, you know the name, you recognize the face, and somebody out here with quite literally one of the coolest personal brands in baseball right now. Ian Jenkins, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today with us.
Hey, man, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you for having me on, bro. Let's rip it up.
Yeah, dude, but no, seriously, before really getting into it, man, like, truly, I'm very grateful for you taking the time. I know that today has been absolutely crazy, and it's been, you know, a bit of a headache to get it done because we have so much stuff going on here, obviously, at the Mastermind and getting a lot of value. But you're a man of your word, and we're making it happen. So that means a lot to me right away. I appreciate that. So, obviously, man, the people watching are going to know who you are. The name is out there. So. People know. Man, it's everywhere. You're a guy that I even knew about years ago before we even met, and it's really cool to see how you've grown year after year in your journey and kind of where you are now. More importantly, knowing that you're still just getting started and hitting the tip of the iceberg. So that's really cool for me. First, I want to know, you know, what value have you gotten from this week? You know, being here, obviously, you know Nick really well, but, you know, what has opened up your eyes so far?
Yeah, man. So just being in a room with people doing the things that I'm doing, having the same kind of struggles, facing the same kind of issues, and all of our solutions for those are really similar. And I think the key to life are people and leveraging the minds of other people. That's how you can shortcut your path to success, and this is like the embodiment of that. So that's why I love this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is something that I know Nick was talking about for a while, and man of his word, said it, made it happen, and this is really surreal. So obviously I always like to take it back and, you know, paint the picture of how you got to where you are today, man. I was doing a lot of research on you, man, a lot of good stuff, but one thing that, you know, really stood out to me is, you know, your love for the game started at a young age. Obviously a lot of adversity and everything like that, but your relationship with your pops, I know that, you know, that's kind of who got you into the game, man. Talk to me about the early years. How'd you start playing and, you know, love of the game? Yeah,
so I started playing baseball when I was 3. My dad played college baseball at the Citadel. He pitched, and he was an outfielder, and injuries ended his career. Shocker. But yeah, that's how we bonded. My dad was an engineer by trade, so he's very analytical, and that's how his brain works, and he passed that on to me, and everything we've done is like very systematic. That's why I can make the videos I make, because it's just like a lot of analytical stuff and things like that. But my father and I's relationship is like, it's baseball. That's all we talk about. We call each other 3, 4, 5 times a day talking about baseball or whatever, and it's just how we bonded throughout the years. And I've used that relationship and shared that with the world, and that's kind of helped me, you know, garner this following.
Yeah, no, and that's crazy too, to see just how, you know, I think in anything in life that you want to do, having that tunnel vision, like being systematic and, you know, knowing that you're fully all in on it and focused, you could do anything, dude. And it's crazy to see how, you know, everything you've turned into already, and knowing again that you're just getting started. I'm curious to, you know, hear about, like, even taking it back a little more as far as, like, you know, when you're still going through the grind of being a player, right? You know, the early years, I know you dealt with a lot of injuries, so adversity from the start. You know, how do you feel that early adversity with injuries and everything like that kind of shaped your mindset to be where you are?
It has made me who I am today. I think that it has done nothing but made me a stronger person. Now, like, whenever I face a challenge, like whenever I got hurt or whenever I tore a ligament, I was about to have the 4th or 5th knee surgery, like, it didn't upset me. It's like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna beat this thing. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to curse, but that was my mindset. Like, I'm gonna get after it. It's not gonna beat me. This is just another challenge, and this is gonna make the story even better. And that's how I viewed it. Like, whenever I got hurt, it was never a negative thing. It was just another challenge to overcome, and I felt that much more deserving of the reward that I was working toward at the time.
We've talked already this week in here, but just hearing you say that, it's so easy to see that having that mindset is why you have that success, where you don't see things as negatives. It's just another challenge and overcome
another challenge. Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my one strength that I've learned, and Nick has helped bring this to light, is I use even if it's a negative or even if it's working against me, I turn around and I can make my weakness a strength. I don't know how I got that quality. I probably got it from my dad because he's brilliant with his logic and the way that he goes through things. But I think that's a strength that served me well.
Yeah, definitely, to say the least. Now, one thing that obviously we're here talking about adversity and all these different things, but man, you're a pretty damn good player. I know you're, very, very, touted out of high school. Can you talk a little bit about your recruiting process and kind of what that looked like?
Yeah, so my recruiting process was a lot different than most P5 kids. So I played 1 full year of high school baseball, and that's it. I didn't get to play my freshman year due to injury. I played half my sophomore year due to injury. Didn't play my junior year due to injury. And first full year was my senior year of high school. So I was relatively unknown until the fall of my senior year. And I didn't get my first offer until the fall of my senior year.
Wow.
So, yeah, I tell the story all the time, but I have these series of tweets. And the first one is like September 10th, 2016.
Okay.
And it says it all starts tomorrow. And I was about to play a game with the East Cobb Yankees, or I just got on the East Cobb Yankees, big time travel team at the time, right? It was the first perfect game tournament. I was like, okay, this is my opportunity to finally get a college scholarship. And then I post that. And then I have a crazy tournament. I do really well. I thought I did everything I needed to show coaches that I am worthy of a college baseball scholarship. But after that weekend, I got nothing. It was crickets, bro. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. It's my senior year. I'm running out of time. I want to go to a P5 because all my friends are, right?
Yeah.
And it's just something I really wanted to do. But my dad has taken video of. We have 70% of my videos of my lifetime on my videos of my at bats on video.
That's sick.
Yeah. So of course he videoed that weekend. We posted the videos, and I posted a video of me hitting a home run at 108 miles per hour. Perfect game. Reposted it, and so that you have that tweet, which is like 4 or 5 days later after it all starts tomorrow, and then 10 days after that, I'm posting my commitment to the University of South Carolina. It's like a series of 3 tweets right there. So, yeah, that's how I got my offers. Social media, baby.
Life works in mysterious ways, and there's a very specific reason why I asked you that question, why I wanted to have you on here, too, is because that's pretty much very similar to how my story was, right? I came from the Dominican Republic, not a lot of resources for me, knowing how to go about the recruiting process coming up. Went to a very small JUCO in Oklahoma during the pandemic, and coaches weren't coming out to see guys anymore. Twitter really started becoming a thing. Hearing you now, you're like the day one from Twitter. But then the pandemic, guys really started getting on there. Coaches started getting on there, and it's incredible what you can do through the power of social media.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, for a guy that, didn't have anything coming out of high school until you got that offer to South Carolina and having that good tournament and not having anything come out of it, what advice would you give to guys that are going through the recruiting process right now and may not see the result and are, struggling to know if it's even going to be worth it?
Yeah, you always have more time than you think, is what I think a lot of guys don't understand. I had guys on my team at the University of South Carolina. Some of those guys got the offer that summer. They're JUCO guys. They got the offer that summer. That you have more time than you think. Stop comparing yourself to your friends, because what you have to realize is there's 400,000 high school baseball players. There's 38,000 college baseball players, which means that only 8% of all high school baseball players are going to get to go and play college baseball. And in order to be a part of that 8%, that's a select group. Like, it's not that many guys actually doing that. So for somebody to go to college is not the average. And you're setting out on a path to do something that's extraordinary, right? Yeah. So number one, you have to hold yourself to a different set of standards than the other 92%. But number two, just because that kid committed to a P5 as a freshman, I don't even know if they can do that anymore, doesn't mean anything. Just because you're a senior without an offer right now doesn't mean anything. Stay with the course. All you can do is control the things that you can, which is getting with somebody like yourself, helping with recruiting, constantly putting messages out there, and you keep fighting that fight until you cannot anymore. Yeah. And that's when you lose. But the only way that you lose the game is if you give up on it and you quit.
Yeah, 100% right there. Now, obviously, you go to University of South Carolina, you end up going to Miami-Dade, and then you finish your college career at Lander.
Yeah.
Similar process to me, not P5 by any means, but transfer a couple times, right? What would you say to guys that, are only looking for that school that they're trying to attain, that may not really be paying attention to them?
Yeah.
How important is the right fit versus, trying to get somewhere that you're not necessarily wanted, to say the least?
Yeah. So I usually use this analogy where you have to date the girl that likes you, not the one that you're chasing, because the one that you're chasing is going to put you through a lot of pain, right? So when it comes to it, you have to go somewhere you're wanted and somewhere that you're going to get the opportunities, because you're going to college baseball to play, not go to watch. And you need to go there with that understanding. And if you're not playing, that is a problem. You're running out of time. The clock is ticking. That is a problem. Now, I'm not saying that it gives you just liberty to bounce from school to school, but at the end of the day, you need to assess the situation and do what's best for yourself, because that's what the coaches are doing as well. So I kind of honestly lost track of what I was saying.
No, that's no, but that is so true. You gotta go where you're wanted, not where you want to go, because at the end of the day, that's why the portal may be the way it is. And a lot of times, especially in this day and age with social media, it's not so much, and I've learned this just from talking with a lot of guys. A lot of times, sure, going to the P5 is great baseball wise, but that's not even really why they're chasing that, right? Because they know it's not the best for them. It's about the Instagram post, hey, just committed here, instead of swallowing your pride and going where it's going to be more beneficial for the big picture.
Yeah.
If you're looking to play baseball in college, it's more than likely because you want to play professional. And the way to get there is by actually being on the field and developing. So want to backtrack a little bit. Obviously, you're here today and you've built what you have because you decided to put yourself out there on social media.
Why? So the reason why I decided to start my social media page was because I knew that my path to Major League Baseball was going to be a difficult one and something unorthodox, and I knew that I needed a way to support myself through that process, and I knew that the internet was the only outlet to do that. So I'd started like 4 other online businesses before, and nothing came of it. And I was like thinking, like, I watched this YouTuber one day and I was like, he's like, you need to do something you're passionate about. And I was like, I love hitting, but nobody cares about hitting as much as I can. Like, I can't change somebody's life talking about a swing. And I didn't do it for like 2 years. So I'm driving back one day. I was like, you know what? Let me just try this. Let me just try and post stuff and see if people even like what I have to say. If they like what I have to say, maybe I could train some kids, change their life, and they can help basically support my career. I can use this as a business to help support my baseball career and chase my dreams forever. And that was the whole goal of my social media. And in that process, I just fell in love with helping people. And I never realized like that I love to help people so much. But it brings me back because what a lot of people don't know, and you might not know who he is, but there's this comedian. His name is Nicky Cass.
I don't know.
Okay, so he's got
I do like comedy.
Yeah. It's like 2.6 million followers right now, and he was my first ever remote client in like 2017, bro. I was scrolling through Instagram on Instagram, and I saw this kid post a swing, and I thought it was really good, but I thought it could be just a little bit better. So it's like 1 a.m. at night. I'm at the University of South Carolina. He's a sophomore in high school. I reach out to him. I was like, bro, I'm so-and-so. I play here. And I think that I can help you with your swing. Just randomly, bro. Just randomly. Dude, next thing you know, we hop on a FaceTime, and then we ended up like FaceTiming each other and helping him with hitting for like the next 6 months. I ended up doing that with another kid named Anthony Sharkus. He was the second kid that I did it with. I would just FaceTime him all throughout the year, helping him with hitting. And those are basically like my first remote clients in a sense. And I ended up meeting him at a South Carolina game. His team had a spring break tournament and happened to be in South Carolina, and I ended up meeting him. But
that's so sick.
Yeah. So I'm saying all that to say is that like I didn't realize how much I enjoyed helping people until I started the account again, and then somebody DM'd me and was like, "Yo, that video was amazing. Like, stuff clicked for me." I'm like, "Yo, okay. So got something here."
We talk about value. We talk about impact. We talk about turning negatives into positives. I failed so you don't have to.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I failed so you don't have to. So I was a hard-headed kid who didn't listen to experience, and I went out and I tried everything. And I would fly here and listen to this guru, fly here listening to this guru, and fly here listening to that guru, DM somebody on Twitter, something like that. And to bring it back just a little bit, one of my worst fears in life ever was to be the kid with the keys to the kingdom, and I never accepted them because I was too blind to see what I really had. And in the pursuit of that, I realized that I was actually being that person. I actually ended up being my worst nightmare. And And then I had all this information in my head, and I tried all these things, and I determined what didn't work and what did work, and I just had too much information in my head, right? So I failed so you don't have to. Is I've gone out and I've tried all the BS, and I've vetted it for you. This is my experience with it. Take it for what it is. I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do. This is my experience with it, and I'm going to try and be as detailed with it and give you my thoughts and opinions. But I, by any means, don't make that like, I'm not forcing that upon you.
No, absolutely. So now, obviously, you know, there's a guy out there watching this that hasn't heard about you and is about to fail because he doesn't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
What message do you have out there? Like, what's the biggest thing you can tell somebody out there that's going through the journey right now, that's, you know, has some uncertainty? Like, what can you tell them?
I'd say that what a lot of people, so for most people, they think that, number one, we need confidence to be superior in anything. Mm-hmm. But the opposite of confidence is failure, right? And failing, because that's where you lose confidence. But that's where people get it so wrong. You need failure in order to be supremely confident. And you need to fail to create the experiences and to learn and get the feedback. And the failures are just giving you answers. You're eliminating things to get the right answers to the test, so then you can have supreme confidence. But if you never fail in the first place, you're never going to have confidence because you won't have full conviction in the things that you're doing. So failure is a prerequisite to being supremely confident in your ability.
And that's something that people are afraid to fail, but you know, without failing and overcoming it, mm-hmm. there's no way you have that conviction, because you know you've been through hell, been back, and still standing strong and growing every time. Like, that's life, and that's really, really cool. So now, obviously, you're giving back everything that you learned and, you know, the experiences you had. You know, talk to me a little bit more about the Freak Athlete Protocol and how you're helping guys. Yeah,
so I'm basically doing exactly what happened in my career for all these other kids. So like I was just telling you, I posted some videos on Twitter and I got a college scholarship. But what I neglected to say was that I was a really strong football player in high school.
Okay.
And I didn't hit the ball as hard as everybody else, and I couldn't figure out why. It just didn't make sense to me. And I, of course, scoured Twitter and scoured everything for all these answers, trying to figure out things. Ended up learning that I was basically deficient in two things: velocity, and my rotational acceleration sucked. For 3 months, my trainer and I dialed in on it. In 3 months, I gained 11 miles an hour of exit velocity. I had the second highest exit velocity in the entire nation. The only kid who had a higher exit velocity than me, he was like 6'9", 285. I'm sitting over here, I'm 5'10 and a half. I'm like, yo, I'm chilling. 5'11 on my perfect game profile, because you add an inch and 5 pounds.
5'10 on paper right here.
Bless up.
Yes, sir.
That's what we do, though. But yeah, I had the second highest exit velocity in the entire nation. And that's what propelled me to getting that scholarship. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm bringing kids into my program, figuring out what their bottleneck is, whether it's driving the ball consistently, throwing the ball hard, running fast, or just hitting the ball with more power, making their weakness into a strength while amplifying their strengths. And then once they get these crazy results in my program, I post them online to help them get recruited. Because I have about 400,000 followers across all platforms, and I have hundreds of college coaches and scouts who follow me and trust me. So I leverage that to help the kids in my program.
That right there is amazing.
Yeah.
That is so valuable, and that's something that I failed so you don't have to, and now you're giving back to the game, and that's something that is going to continue to propel you to have a lot of success, especially that now you're not limited to being in person, you know, with a guy. If you're a kid out in Hawaii that doesn't have access to the best training ever, but now you're not limited to that. So where can someone find you if they want to join the Freak Athlete Protocol?
Got a few kids in Hawaii, by the way, too. It's cool that you brought that up.
So
Exactly.
Funny enough, I've never been to Hawaii. Definitely would love to. Got to keep working hard. But I had an athlete there a couple months back that wasn't getting enough attention. Obviously, it was hard for his family to send him to the States to showcase this. One Twitter post later, his career changed. Now you got a full ride scholarship, and that gives me goosebumps because that's so amazing.
Power of the internet, bro. It's changed the landscape of the entire world. It's crazy. But Freak Athlete Protocol, where you can find it, is any of my social pages. Ian Jenkins _hitting on Instagram is the link in my bio, or you can just Google the Freak Athlete Protocol. Go to my landing page, watch the video. If you think it's something for you, then go ahead and book a call with me, and I can see if you're somebody I can actually help. So I think that's the most important part. Like, I can't help everyone in the world, but I can help those who are super committed.
Absolutely. Same thing here. There's something that's not for everybody, but more than happy to talk to you. And if I can't help you, then I can at least, point you in the right direction and, give you value that way. But, man, I appreciate everything that you've done in your life to help, others. And I cannot wait to continue to see your growth and hopefully build a relationship where, we can complement each other down the line.
Absolutely.
We have a closing tradition in this podcast, however, where the last guest leaves a question for the next one.
Okay.
And today I have a pretty good question for you from good friend and longtime baseball legend Carl Carswell. And he wanted to ask you,
Okay.
besides crazy online hitting value, how will you impact the world at the end of your career?
That's a great question. I think that the reason why my content does well and why I've done well is not because of hitting. I think it's because I inspire the next generation of baseball players to become the best versions of themselves. And baseball is nothing more than a microcosm of life, and the principles that you learn are universal, and you can apply those to anything across life. So I think the biggest impact is I'd like to think, is that I'm creating better human beings, more productive human beings, people who can reach their full potential in life and create a great family.
You're a legend, brother. Damn, I can't wait to continue to see you grow, bro. This is really exciting. Thank you again for taking the time. I know it's been a crazy, crazy day, but can't wait to run this back down the line and see where you continue to scale up. But that's it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Appreciate you, bro.
You're dope. That was good.